I'm Caroline Hulse from Sew Caroline, and today we're going to be talking about the tank dress. The tank dress is a super simple pattern that only has 2 pattern pieces and can be sewn together in a matter of hours. These are some samples here, but it's really casual, a great casual wear for summertime, springtime, throw in a cardigan, it's perfect. We are going to be talking about these 2 pattern pieces that it has, and first of all, I wanted to point out that there are 2 important markings here. I've taken the pattern pieces themselves and traced them onto Swedish tracing paper in my size and cut them out. The 2 important lines here are the casing or shearing line and the shorten or lengthen line. We're going to be working with this one mostly today. But first, if you see the pattern and you think that that might be too short or too long for your liking, you can always cut here at the shorten or lengthen line and either overlap the pattern pieces to make them shorter, or you can add paper to make it longer. Just whatever you do, be sure that whatever you do to the front, you also do to the back. So you might notice that the back pattern piece is actually wider than the front. And that is because we're taking into account the casing or shearing line, so that once the casing of the elastic or the shearing is done, it will suck together your pattern piece and make it the same width as the front. So I'm going to show you first how to use the casing, and we're going to step over to the machine in just a minute after we iron our pieces. What you'll do is cut a strip of fabric that is 1.5 inches by the width of your pattern piece. I've done this right here already, and see it's the same width as the pattern piece. And I've already pressed the long edges in towards the casing at about 1/8 to 1/4 inch. That's all you have to do there. This is your casing. So then what we're going to do is take our pattern piece here and put this casing directly on top of the line that I transferred from the pattern piece. And you'll want to do a few pins just to make sure it stays. And you are going to want to make sure that you do this on the wrong side of the fabric. So this is the inside of the dress, so it won't be shown on the outside. So you'll do like that. You'll pin it in place, and then we'll head over to the machine. Let me show you how to use the edge joining foot to add this casing to the back of your pattern piece. First of all, I'm going to switch out my regular presser foot for the edge joining foot. There we go. And there's a plate right here on the presser foot that you can line the edge of the casing up to, and then just use a regular straight stitch and sew it on. As you're sewing, you just want to make sure that the casing is straight right over the line you marked. The edge joining foot is just catching the edge of this casing on the back here, so it gives you lots of room in the middle to add your elastic. And with using this presser foot, it makes sure everything stays really straight and nice. Finish there. And I'm using a contrasting fabric so you can see it, but you would want to use a fabric that coordinates with your fabric. A contrasting thread, you'd want to use a coordinating thread that goes with your fabric. I'm just going to do the other side of the casing, right down the edge. And again, it's just catching the very edge of the casing. There we go. So that's how you add the casing. And then what you'll do next is cut your elastic, your 1/4 inch elastic, about 3/4 of the width of the pattern piece. Just cut it and then slide it through using one of these elastic sliders or a safety pin, and that then you'll follow the rest of the instructions that you can find on the website to finish the garment out. So that's the back. So the other option you have to make this dress is to add a shirring on the back instead of the elastic casing. And so you do everything the same that you did for this, and then you make sure you have your mark for the shirring, and then you will head over to the machine and sew in your elastic. So now I'm going to show you how to use elastic thread and the bobbin to create the shirring effect. I'm going to put your regular presser foot on. And then we're going to take out the thread and the bobbin, and you'll use an empty bobbin to hand wind the elastic to it. So you're just going to pull it pretty tight and then just keep filling the bobbin until it's as full as you'd like it to be. Just keep turning it back and forth. I already have one done, so we don't have to do all that. And then you just put it in your machine like normal. And pull the thread. And get the thread so it catches here. You're going to use it just like you would normal thread. The one thing I like to do is lengthen, make the length of the stitch a little bit longer, and then you just start sewing. And I'm going to sew right down this line that I marked. Again, I'm using a contrasting thread just so we can see it. Do all the way to the edge here. As you can see, it's starting to gather a little bit, and then once you iron it, it starts to gather even more. And after you do the first line of stitching, you will skip down about 1/4 of an inch and then do another line, and you can do 3, 4, 5 lines of the shirring. The more you use the shirring, the tighter it'll go. And this is a really good option if you like your dress to be a little bit looser than using the actual elastic. As you can see in these samples, the shirring just is really uses a soft elastic to make it stretchy. So, so this is an example of the shirring, and this is an example of the casing. It's 2 different options you can use that, it gives the same effect, but it just is a little bit different, makes the dresses stand out a little bit more. I also wanted to note that these are all sewn in a woven cotton fabric, but you can also sew this in a knit. I wouldn't make any adjustments to the pattern. I would just choose a knit fabric and sew it in that. Another option for this pattern is to do a contrasting yoke. I think this makes a fun statement, and you can use a fun fabric on the top and a solid on the bottom, or vice versa. All the instructions to do this are also on the website, so you can easily do that to add a little bit of differing fabrics, especially if you have 2 fabrics you love and you want to put them together. That is how you sew a tank dress, and they're really easy and they're fun, super simple to wear in the summer or the spring, and I hope you have fun sewing one.